Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I surely appreciate you stopping in. If you're a repeat viewer and repeat subscriber, I surely appreciate your support over the last several years. Guys, like I always say, as I build these videos for like-minded folks just like you and I, to help us all get to the finish line, just get there quicker, more proficiently, a little smarter, if you will, right? Today's video, guys, we're going to talk about kind of a debated topic, I guess you could say, a little bit. And that's not the reason I'm doing this, not to start a debate. I'm just here to tell you what I have done over the last several years and have weeded out some of that pros and the cons, right? Because there are pros and cons of both of it. What we're talking about today, guys, is using mineral. So, does mineral work? Right off the bat, right? I'm often asked that, and you know, that is a big step to trying to build a healthy herd, is having everything that we can do for them as far as our food plotting and also supplemental feeding, right? So the mineral side of it is this, guys. Over the years, I used to build my own mineral. I've tried a lot of the mineral that are out there on the market, and I can honestly tell you, some of it works and some of it does not. So why did I start mixing my own, right? Why did I start building my own and trying to reach a kind of a higher degree of mineral standards? The reason for it is there's a lot of it that is salt. Sadly, salt is a attraction. Salt is not what you want to overdo salt in a diet. Now, we all need you know, mammals, I guess you could say, right? There's a lot to be said for having salt in your diet, but too much salt is doing nothing for antler growth, right? So, or lactation of the does, herd health in general. So what I've done, guys, is I was you know, using for years, I would mix my own, and I would recommend, you know, if you wanted to mix your own, to do this. Dical, trace mineral, and white salt as a combination. And what I was doing is I would put a 5-gallon pail of each of those and mix them in, so maybe a third, I guess you could say, and I'd mix up a whole batch, you know, have 15-20 gallons of it and use it throughout the year. I'm big on adding to your mineral sites, not just, you know, doing it once in the spring and calling it good. But what I found is this, guys. I was having these, you know, deep crevices in the ground, and boy, they thought I was doing a lot of good. But with that said, that's the reason I went to building my own, is because of it had too much salt. That process works. That dical, trace mineral, and white salt definitely works, right? But I try to find products, guys, that you guys, the viewer, and my clientele around the country can go and buy off the shelf too, right? So whether that company becomes a partner with me or not, I'd like to have that out there. This is what I use. So I've got 3 mineral sites here on the farm, guys, all pertaining to the line of movement, just not, you know, in the center of the farm. We're going to touch on that in a second here. But a trace mineral block at each mineral location. I use a full one, and they'll last you about a year, so I always put them out in the spring. I'll show you when I go to the mineral site here, I'll show you that my last year's blocks are now all pretty much gone. But what I'm using, guys, is I'm using the Lucky Buck, and it's a good Michigan product, and I really believe that there's something to be said for that product. I've had great luck with it. It's a super attraction, and you know, I've got a lot of clients around the country that are using it at a lot larger volume than I am, as far as, you know, larger acreage, and they're having great results. I don't think, for the price point that you can buy the Lucky Buck mineral, I don't think at the price point you can mix it yourself, and then you don't have to worry about, are you mixing it right? Your ratios, are they right or are they not? So with that said, guys, so that's kind of the educational part of it, right? And the why, you know, why I do and what I'm using here on the farm. So let's go over to the mineral site, and I'll kind of video all of 3 of these so you can see what they all look like and how I'm doing this. And, you know, just keep in mind, that's what we're doing, putting a trace mineral at each one of them, and then I put a bucket of the Lucky Buck at each one, and I do that. I do the trace mineral once, and I do the Lucky Buck, I do it 3 times throughout the entire year. Starting, I put one out right after the season of January, and then I put one out now in spring, and then I'll put another one out when I plant my fall food plots in August. So that's kind of the timeline that I do mine, and that's the product that we're using. So let's grab this stuff here, go over, and we'll dose this mineral and recharge this mineral site and show you what's going on. So there's the mineral, guys, poured out in place, and just adding to that. And I don't know if you can smell that through the camera, right? But Lucky Buck probably does have the most aroma that I have had. I tried with this, with the mineral. So that gets us to this point. Is mineral worth it? And does it do anything to the health of the deer? So yes, I'm going to tell you that my findings are that yes, it does. There's some folks out there that'll tell you that mineral does not do anything for your herd, and it's a waste of time. There's way more positives than there is negatives when we talk about the mineral. And the reason I say that, guys, is that'd be just like saying that there is, mineral doesn't work with an athlete, or there's not, certain things that athletes do that the common you and I of the world don't do, that keeps them in true fit, right? Keeps them in true form. You'd be lying to yourself if you told yourself that mineral doesn't aid in that. But like we said, the right mineral with the right product, and you can see that I'm adding that trace mineral block for a reason. The right product does great. Is a mineral that's high in salt, and salt only, going to do anything for you? And the answer to that is no. So there's a pro and there's a con to that, right? But if you're in a state that allows it, I would highly recommend doing it, because your neighbors are probably doing that, and it is an attraction. But what you'll find, guys, is it's a way to help them rebound from that 30% body weight loss that the bucks, first of all, that the bucks lose after the rut. I find that my mineral sites go through the roof. My activity on those all of a sudden spikes at that time of the year. But I can honestly tell you that, going into the pre-rut, going into October, I've got these cameras that are right here. This is one of the reveals here that I've got. And that camera is on that mineral right now, but that camera gets turned to the scrape right here that's on the edge of the shot plot. That gets changed because there's very, very few deer that ever touch that. Now, I do see the does throughout the year kind of touch it, but it's not a piece of their health requirement during that time of the year, during the hunting season a lot. Right now, it's a huge piece of the puzzle. Antler growth, lactating does, healthy herd. It's no different than your food plots, right? Healthy soil, healthy deer. Healthy mineral creates healthy deer, which creates healthy, does, creates healthy fawns. Healthy fawns are healthy bucks, right? So there is a lot to be said for that. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not going to do something, because they've probably found what I have found, that there are minerals out there that are too high in salt that aren't doing you any good. But at the end of the day, for the most part, yes, there are way more pros to using mineral than not. Thanks, guys.